Oh, welcome back. I love that song. Ask anybody I know. Vogue is my theme song. It's been my favorite song since it came out, probably. I don't know why. Love that song. Anyway, we have Matt in Chandler. I used to live in Chandler. It's very beautiful. Matt in Chandler, Arizona. Welcome to the show.
You were talking about how Bush hurt our country, made it spreading propaganda. Well, I'd just like to make a certain point. You know, I honestly believe he made it safer, and with Obama in, we're going to be a lot worse off. When Clinton was, for example, when Clinton was in, the USS Cole got bombed. The Twin Towers had a car bomb. What did Clinton do about it? He didn't do nothing.
Oh, yes, he did. Don't come on my show and do this to me. Don't show this level of disrespect towards Clinton. I think it's ridiculous that you're doing this. Yes, he did. The first World Trade Center bombing was done by a guy named LeBlind Sheikh, and he's in a supermax prison in Colorado. Of course he did something.
Who was he affiliated with? He's affiliated with the Taliban, or Al-Qaeda, excuse me.
Well, exactly. And Bill Clinton was the first person to ever have a task force dedicated to Al-Qaeda. There was a guy named John P. O'Neill who worked for the FBI who headed up that task force. You had Richard Clarke who headed up the counterterrorism task force. And they were very much on the case. In fact, John P. O'Neill died at the World Trade Center in 2001, and Richard Clarke said he was running around trying to tell Bush that it was coming. Everyone had their hair on fire. Do you remember that expression? And Bush just kind of sat there and did nothing. He stayed on his vacation ranch in Crawford. I mean, we've had terrorism with us forever, but Bill Clinton was actually really good on terrorism. He created the first bin Laden task force, and in fact, in 1998, that was the first time that bin Laden was ever placed on indictment and became a wanted man. You had John P. O'Neill go to Yemen and try to investigate the USS Cole, and a Bush appointee from the previous Bush administration, her name was Barbara Bodine, who was the ambassador there, refused to let the FBI into Yemen. She kicked them out. She said, "Get out of my country," and wouldn't let John P. O'Neill investigate the Cole. So O'Neill quit, and he went to work. Actually, there's a story about whether Condoleezza Rice fired John P. O'Neill or he quit. Nobody knows. But he went to work as the chief security officer at the World Trade Center, and he died there September 11th, knowing that that would be the next target. Now, if all these people knew, and the president got a daily briefing, on August 6th, he was told Osama bin Laden determined to strike within the United States. Then you tell me how the vice president of the United States is still on TV saying we didn't know anything about Al-Qaeda.
Okay, I agree with you on that, but Clinton was also briefed the same thing before Bush going in. And I'd like to ask one more question.
Okay.
If we can move on right quick. When do
Okay.
enemy combatants are able to be underneath the Constitution? The Constitution was meant for American citizens only. Since when do they get protection under the Constitution, get lawyers, get the same rights that we do? They're enemy combatants. They're the ones who they're beheading our Americans.
No, listen, they're not the ones out there beheading our Americans, okay? There's one, the guy who beheaded Daniel Pearl was actually the guy we waterboarded 183 times. Now, the United States Constitution prevents us from doing any cruel or unusual punishment. Now, either we're holding them as prisoners of war, which means they fall under Geneva, which means we don't torture them, right? Or we're holding them as civilians, in which case they do get constitutional rights. They get habeas corpus. They're not treated under the U.S. Constitution, meaning that they don't have the same rights as you do. They don't need to be Miranda-ized. You don't need a warrant to search them. None of that is true. So whoever is telling you that they fall under the U.S. Constitution the same way we do, they're not telling you the truth. Well, and I am telling you the truth, and you can go look it up. Either we have to decide that they're prisoners of war and they fall under Geneva, or we decide that they're civilians who have committed crimes, and if they're civilians who have committed crimes, then they can be tried in military tribunals because they're foreigners.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, we didn't even sign the Geneva Convention.
Yeah, we signed it. Not only did we sign it, we wrote it.
There was a, well...
Wait, hold on. Why do you think that we didn't sign the Geneva Convention?
May have got my trees mixed up, but we don't It
is likely the most important piece of paper that we have ever negotiated.
I honestly got my treaties mixed up. It's the treaty I'm thinking about is where we don't send our people to foreign courts, and we're one of the few countries who I think China and Russia also didn't sign it.
We not only signed the Geneva Conventions, we authored it. Need to go to a break. It's 32 after. We'll be right back.
Gotta get that boom, boom, boom. Gotta get that boom, boom, boom. Gotta get that boom, boom, boom. That boom, boom, boom. That boom.